Back in the day, I think it was around 12, I think 2012, when you did a movie like Heroin.
Yeah.
Right? And I remember an interview of yours, we said, boss, this is too intense for me, and I don't want to get into these intense parts. What did you mean by that? What had happened that made you...
I think maybe the film didn't work in a way, so it kind of, you know, I'm such an emotional person. I'm also a person that is very like, I'm affected. So if I'm affected at something, I just show it. You know, and I think that was what happened with Heroin. Because I really worked hard on the film and I wanted it to be, you know, everyone was winning national awards for Madhur's film. And, you know, somewhere we went wrong. But I still feel that it was like one of my amazing performances. So I think it was maybe that.
Like, itna matlab kaam kiya aur fir kuch mila nahi, to kya point kya hai? May as well dance in Bodyguard.
Yeah.
Right?
And then, but then I obviously also had to strike that balance. Like, I have to do the commercial, I had to do all of that. And I liked doing that.
Right.
But now, obviously, it's a different time in cinema also, I think, right? I mean, with the whole OTT outbreak, there's, you know, like you said, stars from a different galaxy that are coming, you know, and they're like top-level actors here.
Right.
They're playing a different game.
You have to up your game as well.
Yeah. And I want to be kept on my toes now. We don't want to get comfortable and like, you know, just whatever.
I mean, speaking of debacle though, and I have to say this, it's one of my favorite films from last year, Laal Singh Chaddha, right? And I know for a fact that you guys worked really hard.
Yeah.
Like, I think it was a very, very long schedule, ran into months and months.
Yeah, years. COVID
right? Yeah, and Aamir was literally staying in Ladakh. I know I visited once and it's like, ye 6 minutes se yahi pe hai. Right? What do you think went wrong with that film from an audience perspective? It was a very sweet film.
I think so. It was warm.
We had a very warm message, a very sweet film. Did you guys do a post-mortem? Because that's a lot of effort, again, that went into making that movie, right?
Of course. I mean, Aamir was like living that character. He had become Lal. I don't know. I think maybe it was just people had, you know, COVID had just happened and everything was slowly opening up and people maybe wanted something more energetic and fun. Rather than, it was slightly emotional. And
art house, you think?
No, I wouldn't say art house. I would say that maybe they wanted, like, because there were these big names attached to it, like Aamir and me, they must have thought that they wanted something more
frothy.
Yeah, coming out of this time. And it was, I think, slightly dark.
I'm curious to know, like, when something like this happens and everyone's put in so much, the movie's there in the theaters, people aren't going to watch it. Do you guys sit down and discuss, like, almost like not necessarily a post-mortem, or do you sit and mourn, or do you sit and analyze? What happens? What did you do after Laal Singh Chaddha vis-a-vis Aamir? Did you guys meet after?
You know, I was actually, after the film, I was busy. I gave birth. I had another child in COVID. So I was very... Like, it was just like...
Congratulations.
Thank you. So it was like there was so much going on, you know, at that time. So I never really met Aamir after the film. But then obviously after that I bumped into him at the NMACC event. And I know, I saw it in his eyes that he was a bit like apologetic, yet he was like sad about the fact that, you know, why did this happen? And also we've also done such great work together. With a big blockbuster like 3 Idiots, Talash.
Yeah, massive.
So, somewhere there was that feeling. But like I said, I mean, you know, I wrote to Advait as well as Aamir that I don't judge, you know, relationships, friendships, or our talent as actors with a film that didn't work. You know, I'm like, for me, Rupa will always be an iconic character, which I played because she was slightly dark. And he was also worried about that. He was like, zyada dark to nahi ho jayega character. And I was like, nahi, theek hai, it's fine. That arc, we have to show it. So I just kind of told him on a long WhatsApp that, you know, don't feel that we've lost. Because we haven't lost. I mean, we made a beautiful film and our friendship and our love is not measured on box office success.
It's interesting, we're making all these hardcore conversations about Mayor of East Town and how you don't want to dig deep. But you really became the star with what you're wearing right now, isn't it? It's the poo, right?
Yeah.
And would that be your breakout performance in terms of the world knowing you right away? Like, boss, I want to be this person, like a pop culture moment, so to say?
I mean, it has to be, of course, that. But I mean, there was like, it was the big blockbuster because you had never, like you said, pop culture. There was never like a mainstream actor who had played that kind of character. And that too in a big blockbuster film with so many stars in it. But it was this character like Pooh, which everyone was talking about. And I mean, you know, 23 years later, we're still discussing that.
Right, yeah.
And it's more relevant today than I think even then.
What do you think?
I think it's just the way she is, the lingo, the language. But that also is in the writing. The way Karan wrote it.
Like Karan says that he got inspired by Alicia Silverstone in Clueless.
In Clueless.
Did you watch her?
I mean, I've seen...
Yeah, you'd seen it.
Yeah, but like, I think he was more of an inspiration, Karan.
Yeah?
Because I think he knows that part the best. But I also enjoyed playing it. So when you enjoy and have fun doing that, somehow it just, you know, comes to life. So I really enjoyed playing Pooh.
So then after Pooh, Kareena, you have this whole string of films which would be like, what are these movies? And some of them we've forgotten now. And that's why we probably don't even mention them. But quite a few of them, like say, Mujhse Dosti Karoge, or a Yadein, or a Main Prem Ki Diwani, these are debacles,
and they were debacles, but they were all with the biggest directors in the country.
So were you picking the director, obviously?
I mean, at that time, I was so young, I mean, how could you say no to a Sooraj Barjatya film also? You know, a big...
Subhash Ghai film.
Yeah, I mean, they were all the biggest movies. And obviously wanting to be in them. But I mean, to me, like I said, like my filmography, everything, I wear my failures also as proudly as my successes. Because somehow those films flopped, but people always still gave me and loved me.
Right.
And believed in my talent. So somehow I hold those films as close to me.
Do you?
As...
You are the non-reader and Saif is the big reader.
I mean, it's not about reader, but it's like, I mean...
Look at the size of the book.
And read, yeah. But I love...
You've written 2-3 books yourself.
I love Joe Nesbo. I love, you know, the detective crime kind of, Scandi kind of writing.
Fiction,
I love all of that. But like Saif's different, he reads different kind of stories. He's an art history student, so he likes reading stuff about that. I mean, it's fine, but I think I just give the vibe and personality that I'm not a reader.
Which is not true.
I mean, which is not true because now I think like on a day off, sometimes I do pick up a book in the afternoon and I do like to spend my time reading. You
also think when you give off a vibe that you do, which is like, you know, I'm Pooh and whatever, when you actually appear in a film, I distinctly remember, I think it's 2004 when you did Dave. And I was awestruck by you in that movie because I didn't expect it. And when you have too strong a personality, कि मुझे सब कुछ आता है और I'm a dude, it's very hard to get into another person's character. Do you think that could be the case?
I think the way people perceive you because of your characters, like because of Pooh or Geet, they think and believe that you know, that's her. But if you've noticed, and I'm happy that you brought up Dave, because I have done films early on also in my career. Dev, Chameli, Omkara, Yuva, which have been character-driven. But they never really get their due because these larger-than-life characters, because that's the way the audience also wants to see you and enjoy you. You know? And they're like, she looks...
And even if Kambaknish doesn't do well, or if, I don't know whether they did, but more people have seen it than they've probably seen a Dev.
A Dev.
Right.
And because they enjoy seeing me in those roles, probably. Or they perceive, there's just this, you know. So I've constantly tried to break that, but with doing these periodic films and choosing, like Chameli very early on, I was 22 when I did it. I mean, that's been a conscious effort.
Right. And also with the changing times in cinema, right? I mean, those things were not happening in 1991. Or they were considered art house. They probably didn't even get a release.
Yeah, exactly. So I think when I did Chameli in 2000s, it was, I mean, nobody was making that kind of a story, or a mainstream actor wasn't playing those parts.
But would you walk into something like this thinking of it as a challenge, or after all, you are an actor and you'll do the same way what you do in other films? How does it work?
No, as in will I continue to, or...
Like, will you just be who you were in the previous film? After all, it's just a character. And because you are an instinctive actor, right? You're not someone who like prepares for months, or did you?
No, not for months. I think I'm a prepared actor, but I'm not like overtly prepared. I like to leave something to set. I like to leave something to the director to my co-stars, some sort of energy, because it's a collective energy also that makes a scene and makes a film. So we have to leave that room. We can't come with like, "Ab maine to set kar diya hai."
You prepare your lines and all those
Yeah,
things
of course.
before, right?
No, of course. I think the best thing an actor can do is learn his lines, like know his lines backwards. Because then you get room to play
Do
around
other things.
and concentrate on other emotions rather than, okay, what's my next line? So I'm very conscious of that.
Right. And it doesn't matter to you when you're doing those films whether those films will be box office successes or not. It's
No,
not
I've
important.
never been that.
Really?
I mean, I've done films, of course. Okay,
You've
kar
done
lete
films
hain.
for the money, obviously you have.
Yeah, of course. But I'm not like, I mean, it didn't matter to me whether Dev was going to become K3G.
Yeah.
Because they're different realms altogether of cinema. But I've always been ready to, delve in that and, experiment in that and do it.
Subscribe to Midday India. Get direct notifications on all our videos by clicking on the bell icon.